But why it's smart for the UFC is because the UFC is going to be heavily involved on the Conor side. They have to be.
Oh, yeah, just like the Mayweather fight.
Yes.
You're aware that both Jake Paul and Conor are under contract with Dana White. Are you not aware of that?
There's been a lot of talk about the potential fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul for months, but it's now clear that Dana White, CEO of the UFC, is the main force making this possible. Sources suggest that White has been working behind the scenes to organize this massive event, with plans to host the showdown in India. Although the fight appears to be confirmed, growing doubts are emerging around this rumored boxing exhibition, with many critics labeling it as a potential scam. Former UFC heavyweight contender Brendan Schaub has challenged Conor McGregor's claim that he would earn $250 million for a potential fight against Logan Paul. Conor McGregor, who recently announced preliminary talks with the Ambani family for a boxing exhibition against Logan Paul in India in 2025. He hinted that both fighters could earn $250 million from the event, set to take place at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium. However, Schaub expressed skepticism about these claims, stating that no UFC fighter, past or present, could ever make such a massive sum in one night. He pointed out that even heavyweight boxers funded by Saudi investors, such as Tyson Fury, don't command such amounts for their bouts.
It's kind of like the Saudi money, how they're paying Tyson and all these guys. Like, not $250 million is wild. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined, not even close.
Schaub drew comparisons with the money being paid to fighters like Tyson Fury, claiming that $250 million for a single fight is an astronomical figure. He noted that it's hard to fathom how McGregor could make more than the top boxers in the world, especially when a YouTuber like Logan Paul is involved.
For just Conor will make more than Usyk and Fury made combined. And that's boxing at the highest level. And they have a YouTuber, a guy who's going under some allegations, making more, just one of them is making more than the greatest boxers on the planet.
Schaub also emphasized that even if McGregor were in peak form, undefeated and a multi-title champion, he still wouldn't be able to command $250 million for a fight in the UFC.
Even if he was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, there's not a UFC fighter on this planet in the history of that organization that could make $250 million in one night. It will never, ever happen. So even if none of this darkness was going on and he was, let's say he was 30-0, the triple champ, yeah, eat that, dude. The champ, triple champ, quadruple champ, even if he was that, he still wouldn't make $250 million.
UFC legend Chael Sonnen is also one of the loudest voices against the fight, calling the entire event a scam. The fight is said to be backed by the Ambani family. However, no one from the Ambani family has confirmed any involvement in funding the event. Adding fuel to the fire, Sonnen, known for his blunt analysis, pointed out the flaws in the entire scenario, emphasizing that large events like this are typically backed by governments, not individual billionaires.
There is a very big former champion that's a star of the mixed martial arts. His name is Conor McGregor. He is claiming that he's going to get $250 million to go box Logan Paul in India for a billionaire investor who wants to bring attention and tourism to India. Conor's not boxing Jake Paul. There is not a billionaire in India looking to bring people over and change tourism. That is something exclusively done by a government, and that government is done in one place, which is in the Middle East. And third, there's no check for $250 million. So he kind of went right down the list of joking. He's kidding. You're not supposed to believe any of that to be true.
Adding to his skepticism is McGregor's long absence from the ring. Since 2021, McGregor has not competed in a fight, and his return has yet to be confirmed. The rise of new stars in the UFC, such as Sean O'Malley and Alex Pereira, has made McGregor's market value uncertain. According to Sonnen, no one is willing to invest $250 million in a fighter who hasn't been active in years.
Conor has not been offered $250 million from a guy in India. Conor does not currently have any ability to box Jake Paul for a guy in India.
On the other hand, Sean O'Malley recently expressed his excitement about McGregor's return to the sport. On The Suga Show, O'Malley shared that he would love to see McGregor back in the octagon, knocking out an opponent with his powerful left hand and celebrating with his iconic cage jump. He believes that McGregor, who now weighs around 185 to 190 pounds, could still compete at a high level, especially given the extra size he's put on since his last fight.
I do too. I would love to see Conor come back and start someone in the UFC. That's what if I could pick anything, I want Conor to come back, walk out, and hit someone with the left hand and just jump on the cage.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to see.
Co-host Tim Welch also chimed in, suggesting that while Logan Paul might seem to have the advantage due to his size, McGregor's new weight and muscle mass could make the fight more even. He pointed out that while Logan Paul weighed 190 pounds at the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson event, McGregor has now built a solid frame at 185 to 190 pounds. O'Malley agreed with this assessment, noting that McGregor's increased size could play a significant role in making the fight competitive.
In the later rounds, Conor gassed himself out, but Conor, remember, and we always think of the old Conor too. Conor's walking around, it looks like he's a solid 185, probably 190. When we saw Logan, when we were at Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, he said he weighed 190 pounds. Yeah. 190 pounds. He wasn't near as stacked as you're used to seeing him in the WWE. He is tall. I think that's a competitive fight.
The situation surrounding a potential fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul has become even more controversial. On one hand, McGregor has shown interest in the fight, hinting at it in recent discussions, while Logan Paul's camp has remained relatively silent. However, Logan subtly fueled speculation by sharing a training video, which many interpreted as a sign that he's on board with the idea. Adding to the confusion, Jake Paul took to social media, shedding more light on the situation. He suggested that the recent efforts from McGregor's team to negotiate a fight make more sense now. Jake stated that he would only consider a fight with McGregor if Dana White and the UFC are directly involved or give their approval. He also took a swipe at McGregor, labeling him washed and confidently predicting that Logan Paul could win the fight by any means he chooses. Dana White has not yet commented on the rumored fight, which has led many to believe that there may be tension between McGregor and White lately. However, Brendan Schaub dismissed these speculations. He suggested that, in reality, Dana White could be fully on board with the idea from the start.
But why it's smart for the UFC is because the UFC is going to be heavily involved on the Conor side. They have to be.
Oh, yeah, just like the Mayweather fight.
Yes.
Schaub pointed out that the UFC has supported McGregor in high-profile events before, such as his 2017 fight against Floyd Mayweather, and they might do the same again now. He believes the UFC sees this fight as an opportunity to help McGregor move past the negative press surrounding his recent legal troubles and civil court loss.
Just like
they're going to make money off that.
But then for the UFC, think about this. Conor's coming from all those allegations, lost in the civil court.
Yes.
It's damaged.
Yes.
It's damaged goods right now.
According to Schaub, an announcement of this fight could serve to shift the focus away from McGregor's personal issues and put the spotlight back on his fighting career, potentially paving the way for his return to the UFC. This, he believes, could be the UFC's way of helping McGregor rebuild his image while capitalizing on the financial opportunities that come with such a big event.
Well, the fans walked away from it.
Nothing makes all that go away for a fighter like announcing you have a fight.
No doubt.
So UFC's going, oh yeah, go do that.
Yeah.
Have people forget about all this bullshit, and then you still owe us 2 more fights.
Excellent.
So go take the hit over there. Let them all go away.
It adds
and
up.
We'll fight you end of next year.
McGregor, who has been out of action for over 3 years due to a leg injury sustained during his 2021 loss to Dustin Poirier, is slowly trying to make a comeback. He had originally planned a return fight against Michael Chandler in June 2024, but that has been delayed due to a broken toe. His long absence, combined with ongoing legal issues, has led to questions about whether he can return to the level of competition he once had. Many experts, including ESPN analyst and commentator Stephen A. Smith, believe the potential fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul may not end well for McGregor. Smith raised concerns about McGregor's ability to handle a more experienced boxer like Paul in the ring. While McGregor is a skilled striker, Smith emphasized that he is not primarily a boxer, and his striking techniques may not be as effective against someone with a boxing background. McGregor's jab, for instance, isn't considered powerful enough to pose a serious challenge to Paul's defense.
I think Logan Paul's going to beat him. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that Conor's a boxer. He's a striker. So he's sitting up there. He ain't even throwing jabs.
He's looking to get that one punch. He's looking to get land that left.
You ain't clipping Logan Paul like that. No, you got to do more than that.
What size glove are they using?
We don't know yet, but it doesn't matter. Unless it's pillows like 16 or 18 ounce, it ain't gonna work.
Smith also pointed out the physical differences between the two fighters, noting that Paul is larger and has more boxing experience. While Paul's size and muscle could be a disadvantage in some situations, it would likely give him the upper hand in a boxing match, where weight and strength matter. McGregor's usual advantages in speed and agility, which work well in MMA, may not have the same impact when it comes to boxing, where technique and precision play a larger role.
You know, I just think that Logan Paul is bigger.
He's a much bigger man.
He's a much bigger man. He's more experienced.
Let me take that back.
Are gonna make you a bit slower.
Yes.
You got to remember that Conor had quickness. He could catch you quick and clip you.
Yep.
That's not gonna be the case in the boxing ring.
Given the shift from MMA to boxing, McGregor's usual strengths may not translate, making him a significant underdog in the matchup. Smith suggested that without a more refined boxing strategy, McGregor might find himself at a serious disadvantage when facing someone like Logan Paul in the ring. Mike Tyson's former trainer, Teddy Atlas, has also raised concerns that McGregor's involvement in high-profile boxing exhibitions, like the rumored fight with Logan Paul, could signal the end of his credibility in the UFC and as a legitimate MMA fighter. On his YouTube podcast, Atlas acknowledged McGregor's considerable experience and skill in the ring, but pointed out that Logan Paul, being younger and physically larger, would present a unique challenge for the seasoned fighter.
McGregor's the more experienced, legitimate fighter here. Obviously, Paul's going to be, as I already said, much bigger. He's going to be younger. Does this officially signal that Conor is no longer looking to be a legitimate, pure MMA, fighter?
Atlas questioned whether McGregor's participation in such extravagant bouts, driven by massive paydays, indicates that his focus has shifted away from pursuing a serious MMA career. He suggested that if McGregor continues to chase these high-profile boxing matches, it could be a clear sign that he is no longer interested in competing at the top level of mixed martial arts. While Atlas emphasized that McGregor's legacy in MMA should not be dismissed, he warned that this potential shift in McGregor's career could be a decisive factor in diminishing his standing as one of the top fighters in the UFC.
Now that he's doing these extravaganzas, if you will, for this kind of money, which you can't blame him. It's there, go get it. But does it signal really an end to his legitimacy as an MMA fighter, or wanting to be a legitimate, serious fighter? I don't think it should be forgotten how great he really was. And it might be the end, but I don't think it should be forgotten that he was a great UFC fighter and champion. He was a southpaw. He was a great puncher. He was a clean puncher. He was a pure counter puncher. He knew how to set it up. He knew how to draw you in. He knew how to control range.
Brendan Schaub, a strong believer that the fight may not happen, voiced his concerns about how things could go wrong for Conor McGregor if it does take place. He suggested that if McGregor gets caught by a powerful punch from Logan Paul, the fight could end quickly, especially given Paul's size, speed, and youth.
Here's the thing. Let's say, I'll ask you this case. If Conor goes in there and let's say he gets embarrassed, flatlined, second round, overhand right, Logan Paul, way bigger dude, fast, powerful, way younger, not so many miles on his body, flatlines Conor McGregor. Could happen. Flatlines him. Does the UFC bring Conor back after that? I don't think so.
Brendan also raised concerns about McGregor's approach to the fight, saying that if Conor isn't fully focused and takes the fight lightly, he could end up being seriously hurt. Schaub emphasized that McGregor's lack of seriousness could lead to disastrous results in the ring.
And my only concern too is if Conor doesn't take this serious, kind of moseys in, he's partying, I think he'd get f***ed up. I think if he's not on it, he get f***ed up.
Mike Malak, who is a close friend of Logan Paul and co-hosts the Impulsive podcast, has dismissed the ongoing rumors about a potential fight with Conor McGregor. Malak clarified that Logan's main focus for 2025 is his family, particularly since he recently became a father. He emphasized how Logan is embracing his new role as a girl dad and is prioritizing his family life.
Conor McGregor came out and said that he had agreed to fight Logan Paul. What is the latest there? What is going on?
From what I understand, there was conversations about it a while ago. I don't know if Conor just woke up in like Ibiza or something like that and decided that he wanted to talk about it today. From the last thing I heard, there was no updates there, so I don't know if he's just out of his mind and just talking about it. But Logan just had a kid. He's locked in. He's a girl dad.
While dismissing the idea of the fight, Malak acknowledged its potential to attract attention. He described it as a clash of differing personalities, nationalities, and fighting styles that could easily captivate a global audience. Malak also hinted at the potential outcome of the fight, referencing the controversial Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson showdown, where Tyson ended up losing to Jake.
And so, you know, unless there's something that I haven't heard, which is very possible, I don't know what the hell Conor's talking about. But I'll say this. No matter what, I think the boxing world would love to see it. I think we're talking about two very controversial personalities. One loved and hated, two countries, two different fighting disciplines. The world watches that fight. That's another Tyson, Jake Paul. I don't care what you say, people watch that fight. So I want to see it happen, for sure.
Amir Khan, one of those who echo this sentiment, predicts that Conor could win easily if the fight happens. He explained, "That's not a bad fight for Conor because Conor is actually a big guy. When I stood against him, he's only 10 pounds heavier than me normally, not fighting weight, but he is massive, he's thick. I think he must walk into the ring around about 175. Khan believes that if the fight happens at heavyweight, McGregor could handle it. He said, "If you look at Logan's Mayweather fight, he went into the ring and did well. So I'm sure Conor could do the same." However, Khan made it clear that he thinks Jake Paul is the better fighter, stating, "I don't think Logan is as good as Jake. I think Jake's the better one out of them too." According to Ariel Helwani's sources, Mukesh Ambani's son, Anant Ambani, who recently had a highly publicized $600 million wedding, was reportedly keen on organizing a mega event in a style similar to those held in Saudi Arabia. Jake Paul was initially said to be the first choice for Conor's opponent, but instead, the matchup with Logan Paul gained more attention.
My understanding was the first choice is we want Jake Paul. We want to be in the Jake Paul business. We want a Jake Paul fight here in India. And so then the top choice was Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. That was the pie in the sky idea. And that's why Jake Paul tweeted, once all of this came out, this tweet, now it all makes sense. And this is not me trying to take a shot at Logan or anyone else. My understanding was the top choice was Jake, just because Jake has become more of a boxer as of late, as opposed to Logan.
The rumored fight between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul has sparked significant speculation, with many questioning Dana White's involvement. While White hasn't commented publicly, some believe this silence hints at tension between him and McGregor. However, analysts like Brendan Schaub argue otherwise, suggesting White is likely supporting the fight behind the scenes, just as the UFC did during McGregor's clash with Floyd Mayweather. This match could serve as a strategic move to redirect attention away from McGregor's recent controversies, allowing him to rebuild his image while creating a massive financial spectacle.
McGregor is in talks to fight Logan Paul or Jake Paul. Logan Paul seems like it's more likely going to happen because the WWE and the UFC are both underneath the same people, and Logan signed to the UFC, signed to WWE, and Conor signed to the UFC. You could tell Conor McGregor is getting desperate because for years he was saying, "I'll never fight the Pauls. I'm a real fighter, this and that." But he ducked Michael Chandler for 2 years, and now it looks like he needs a cash grab before he retires because, you know, his reputation's kind of ruined at this point. He's a cocaine addict. He has that case against him right now. But you could tell Conor McGregor is kind of getting desperate because he wants to fight the Paul brothers now. And I'm being honest, I think Conor McGregor gets knocked out by both of them.
Conor McGregor, at 36 years old, has been criticized for his involvement in a rape case which has led to significant public scrutiny. On the other hand, Jake Paul, who has been making waves with his bold and often provocative statements, continues to divide opinion. The pair's controversial personalities have caused many fans to lose interest, with some even boycotting the match altogether.
I'm sure you guys have probably seen the news. Conor McGregor is in works or talks with Logan Paul's team about setting up a boxing match. Essentially what happened is the two teams got together and they're like, let's make a boxing match happen between two of the most hated people. First, Conor McGregor's downfall should be studied nowadays from someone who had so much support, so much going for him, to then owing a woman in a case he lost $250,000. And then we jump over to his opponent, Logan Paul, who of course is one of the most stand-up citizens. He respects and applauds CoffeeZilla for doing his exposed documentary and series on Logan Paul and his crypto scams, to then for some reason suing him because another story is about to come out. Not only is this fight one of the most random things thrown together, but you have two of the most unlikable people.
This match might turn into a rubber match, similar to Tyson versus Jake, leaving some wondering if it's worth the hype. If you liked this video, make sure to hit the like button. Do you think Dana White is involved in making this match to wash away Conor's career stain? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.